Hi kids, welcome back. I've just finished the first season of Babylon 5. The sixth disc did not have 4 episodes on as I thought it would. It only had 2. It had some special documentaries which I have not watched just yet because I wanted to get my thoughts out on the final 2 episodes before I fill my brain up with the making of. I might change my make it a longer video or more complicated. So I've got my notes, quite a lot of notes. The first episode, according to the telly, is called The Quality of Mercy. That's episode 21. Slightly more, I don't know. It's a serious episode with 3 concurrent stories. Usually there's an A and a B plot. This has got 3. And let's have a look. Right, so one of the stories, we'll call that story A, is the doctor investigating a woman who claims to be a healer, sort of an unlicensed woman down in the basements using some kind of machine, and he thinks she's a fraud. It turns out the machine does actually work, but it takes a little bit of her life and passes it on to the people she's healing at her detriment. She has a something called Lake syndrome, I think it's called, and that is a source of, what can he do about it? The second plot line is a murderer called Mueller, who has been already sentenced, and the plan is, his punishment is basically to have his brain completely wiped and give him a new personality so he can spend out his time in sort of just manual labor, just basically as a caretaker or something. And he calls Talia Winters into his basically she goes into his mind and she finds out he's killed a lot of people, and it's a kind of another spooky kind of dream sequency type thing. And the third storyline, which is mild, it's a bit more comic relief. It's where basically Londo takes Lanier, I keep calling Lanier, under his wing, and leads him up to no good. He takes him to a strip joint, and then he's like, oh, let's do gambling because he's good at mathematics. And we discover in this one that Londo does have some kind of tentacle that comes out of his abdomen, which is a little bit disturbing. They don't exactly say what it is, etc., and where it is, but you see it sort of helping itself to poker cards. So that's more fun. When things are all resolved, I mean, I literally can't remember what happened with the murderer type guy. I'm assuming he got his comeuppance, but I think there was quite a bit going on. And the doctor goes to see the woman who... oh, sorry, I know now. The murderer guy, so this is where A and the 2 plot lines tie together. The murderer guy has a bad arm, and he goes to see the healer woman, holds her daughter up at gunpoint and says, fix me. So in a desperate kind of way to save her doctor and herself, the healer woman takes all of his life force off him into her, so she gets cured of Lake syndrome. The guy dies, the murderer dies, and everyone says, well, that's poetic justice, and she says, I'm not that happy about it, but I'm going to leave the station now and decide what I'm going to do with the rest of my potentially extended life. So that's handy. And meanwhile the doc just turns around to her daughter and goes, can I buy you dinner sometime? This has happened quite a lot in this season so far. People have just looked at, met someone almost straight away and go, I'd love to buy you dinner. It's like, everyone's on the pull on this station. I have to try that. Right, so episode 22 is the season finale. And there's a lot in motion. This is a serious episode, lots of politics. It's not bogged down, it's quite interesting. So basically, what have I got here? Catherine Sakai, Jeffrey Sinclair's on-off girlfriend, is back, and they basically get together and decide, because this is December 31st, they decide to get married. So he proposes, she said yes. and he says April, she says July would be better. And they do have dinner with Garibaldi and Ivanova and say, can you be best man and maid of honor type thing. I still have a feeling Catherine is going to be bumped off or, killed off in a tragic manner. So the return of a very 80s looking guy called Morgan returns to help Londo again in a very shady manner. It results in the death of 10,000 Narns, which is, I'm not talking Narn breads, I'm talking, because I've killed more than 10,000 Narn breads, the Jakars race. They stage an attack on a base called Quadrant 37, which is a Narn base, and they're attacked by these dark spiky ships, which I know from years ago to be a race called the Shadows. So this Morgan guy is working for the Shadows. As soon as Londo finds out about this, he's actually quite traumatized, because he's like, I don't like the Narns, but I don't think you should have killed 10,000 of them. He's like, hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. This is gonna look well in the Centauri government for you. You'll look like a hero. Also, the storyline is that Garibaldi has an informant called Stephen who turns up stabbed and dies. And as a result, there's a lot of kind of corrupt cop stuff going on. And Garibaldi gets shot. And he's under many hours of surgery. And it's 50-50 whether he's going to make it or not. Well, we know he makes it anyway. But while that's happening, everyone's worrying about him. Delenn is planning... Did I not write that down? Oh, I did, yeah. Delenn is planning to change or to leave. Basically, she tells Lanier that she's undergoing this chrysalis thing, which I do know is what the outcome of that is. And while all that's happening, the president of the Earth Alliance, his ship is completely destroyed. Sinclair is not happy about it and says, Garibaldi told me before he conked out that they're going to plan to kill the president. So it's all sort of intrigue and stuff like that. But the Earth powers that be do not want to know and dismiss it as wild speculation. And that's the cliffhanger. Garibaldi still isn't out of surgery. Delenn's in a chrysalis. The very last scene actually is Sinclair is watching TV, wondering about what the heck to do. Kosh turns up and says, I think you're forgetting something. And he goes, Delenn. And he runs to Delenn's quarters where he sees Lanier with the chrysalis type apparatus, statue, gem, whatever you want to call it. And in the corner, stuck in a bunch of webs, is Delenn in his chrysalis state. And that's the first season done with. So, as promised, well, firstly, I'll summarize it. Yeah, it's an interesting show. Characters are... the one thing I think I can probably say, at least for this season, is the characters, like the first season of anything, the writers and that are still trying to work out who the characters are, and as a result, their personalities tend to change from story to story, especially because different writers. And you have a showrunner like JMS on top of everything, supervising things, to make sure that the changes aren't too ridiculous. But, I have seen episodes where Delenn comes across as a weaselly, not very nice person, and other ones where she's quite benevolent, and such with other characters. But this reminds me of Torchwood. First season of Torchwood was all over the place. You may disagree, but I thought it was awful. And even though I was in Torchwood, episode 1. But then season 2 of Torchwood was a bit more, we know who everyone is now, and we can write accordingly. So I think that's going to change in season 2. As I've said, I'm looking forward to seeing Bruce Boxleitner turn up in season 2. which means Sinclair is going to be leaving at some point, and Delenn will be changing, having a lot more hair, and looking a lot more human. So I think that feels a little bit jumpy sharky, but I'm going to read into it. Yeah, so yeah, an interesting show, a fun watch. Even though episodes are about an hour long, they don't feel like an hour long, so that's a good sign. They're not boring. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to watch the making of documentaries. I don't think I'm going to comment on them on videos, no point, but just get some background. And then before I go to season 2, I'm going do I have it here? No, I don't. I'm going to go and watch The Gathering, which is some kind of feature-length pilot episode. And like I said in the previous video, some people have told me I should be leaving the pilot episode Gathering until I've watched a couple of seasons. And other people have said, no, you should have watched it first. I don't know. Maybe I should have just ignored all advice and looked up the broadcast dates and work out for myself what order would people have seen this in had it been broadcast on telly back in the 90s. So, so far so good. Like I said, I'm glad that I am enjoying the show. The worst thing would have been to watch 2 episodes and gone, nope, I can't keep up with this. I don't like it. And that would be a bit of a shame. I know Babylon 5 is due a reboot or you know, it's still held in, and there was a recent feature-length animated episode called, I think it's called The Road Back or something like that. It's still well regarded by a lot of people. So I'm assuming things are going to go up a notch in the second season. But let's watch this pilot episode for the next video, and I'll give you my thoughts on that. That's all for me for this week. Hope you found it enjoyable. At the very least, let me know what you thought of Babylon 5. Thank you for staying with me all the way into the new year. We had a fun end of the year show, and I've got good vibes about this channel. This channel has done wonders for my positivity and encouragement and motivation, and that's down in no small part to you guys who have subscribed, whether it was 6 months ago, 2 days ago. I had subscribers join on Christmas Day and Boxing Day. So welcome on board. I hope you'll find this place or this channel reasonably fun, entertaining, light-hearted, nothing major. You know, there's not going to be any massive hate reactions on things like this. This is not that kind of channel. I'm just a guy who loves my sci-fi, and hey, we're in this together. So let's all try and be a bit nicer to each other, especially in the comment section. So with that said, I'll see you next time. Take care now. Bye-bye then.